Now let's start solving the midterm exam. And the midterm, I'll put up here, the midterm. Is you enter the name, you pick a quantity, click submit, and then you gotta read, of course you gotta read the what is asked from you. So the application response is to be shown in another screen. So start Android Studio, start a new Android Studio here. Take an empty activity, next. Name here, let's give it a name. Midterm underscore video underscore spring 2020. And I'm gonna create a physical folder. I'm gonna put here midterm underscore video underscore spring 2020. Create, open, and finish. Make sure that there's a Java here with this screen, right? And I had to download a picture for our logo there, so I'm gonna put over here on a drawable. First, let's work on our layout. On the layout again, we're gonna reproduce, duplicate this guy here, right? So we have an image view, a text view, right? Or three text view, I should say. This game purchase order, the company name, the quantity, and one edit text. Edit text so the user can type it in. And those six radio buttons, you cannot create them separately, individually. Those buttons should belong to a radio group. And the reason why is that the user should only click one of the radio buttons. And a regular button at the bottom here, a submit button, okay? So that's what I'm gonna replicate now. Right under the constraint here, we're gonna start putting the radio group, right? So go to buttons here in the palette, look for a radio group, is right here. And you click at that and you drop right under the quantity here. As you can see, it's a very small icon. You can blow up that and then you put inside the radio buttons that belong to that radio group. But there's a simple way to do it. We're gonna take a radio button here and drag the radio button down here to the component tree. Right as you get the indentation there, it means that it belongs to the radio group. Pay attention, then you're gonna see that. Now the radio group has an arrow here, which means it has an element over there. Right? So this radio button here, radio button, so this radio button, okay, so we're gonna highlight the radio button. The text has radio button, so the user, you want the user to see the quantity. We're gonna put the 5 here. Okay. How about the ID? You don't need to be concerned with the ID, actually, because we're gonna, through the code, we're gonna find out which one of the radio button was clicked or tapped. So don't be concerned with the ID. So one radio button is there, and they'll do the same for all the others, okay? They are vertically, but if you remember the layout that was here in the midterm is asked to be that horizontal. So go back there, highlight the radio group here in the component tree, and look for the attribute orientation. Right here, orientation, and pick that horizontal. You can see now I'm going to change to horizontal. And let's do the rest of it. Radio button. I think they are too bunched up. You can select individually and go to the padding there. Padding. And the padding here, you pad, let's say padding right, increase the distance, like the 5 dp. And you can do the same for all of them. Né? And here we have it. Okay? So it looks exactly the way we have on the screen here. The look on the emulator is the same as we have on the screen, right? All right, good. So now that you have the interface, excuse me, the interface done, we're gonna work now on the code in this application. So the first thing we're gonna be doing is here work on the main activity.java. And the first thing we're gonna do, keep in mind that the only thing that we're gonna do here on the main activity on the first screen is get the inputs, meaning the company name and the quantity that was selected. Here, as usual, I'd like to declare here the object, declare object, the one that we are concerned with. We have an edit text, edit big T, it should pop up here, right? Edit text, space. We're going to use the same name as the ID, but we're going to add this guy here. So it's a codename obj. This is an object, et. And we have a radio group. Let's go down the layout there, radio group. Right? Radio group. If you have the underline there, you have to import. Just hold the Alt key, press Enter. So they import that class there. Radio group, we're going to call that QTY. We're going to add the OBJ here for object radio group. We have a radio button, right? Now the radio button here, this, for the time being, we cannot, we are declared, we cannot define because there is no ID yet. So after the user click that, so the ID is then we know the ID, which ID is that. So that's why this, you can call this a logical radio button, big B there, radio button, and we're going to call that selected radio button. Okay. And the last one is the button. Button. Let's see there, Alt Enter, button. We're going to call that click obj btn. Now here's the onCreated, here is done. Here, just for control, I'm going to put here end of onCreate. Sometimes you have more methods here, and then you lose track of when one ends and the other one starts. So end of onCreate. So here, what the first thing we're going to do is define objects. So we take each one of those objects on the top here. Let's start with the codename obj et. We cast that edit text, right? Press Enter. And then type FIND. That's the one we want. Press Enter. Put the big R dot ID dot same CO codename et without obj means that the ID, right? The second one there on the radio group, their quantity obj radio group is, we put there the radio group, radio big G, radio group. Find view by ID r.id.qtyrg. we're not going to define that logical radio button yet because we don't have an ID, right? So we're going to just go ahead with the last one is the button, click, obj btn. This here is a regular button, find view by ID, r.id dot click btn. That's the ID. Oh, sorry. That should be click btn. We define the object. Now the next thing we're going to do, right? Everything starts after the user clicks the button. So set up a listener to the button. Which button? The object there. Click obj btn. So how to set up? Take the object, type it in the object there. Dot set is the very first one. On click listener. Press enter. So now what you do? Type the word new, big letter O, capital O, and this pops up. View on click, press enter. Sit and wait, and everything else is typed for you. And right. And now we're going to work here on click view. Right? Now we are depending on the user, right? The user can do all crazy stuff there, as a company name, control combined there. So we're gonna use one of the Java methods to capture errors. We're gonna do the pair try, and it goes with catch. It catches a bunch of exceptions. All those errors can be called exception. So we're going to use it. There's a bunch of exceptions. There's I/O exception. There's others. We're going to use the simpler one, exception. We're going to call the exception E. And here we're going to add here. We're going to put here an exception here. We're going to put a toast. Toast dot make text where right here main activity dot this, and we're gonna put here please enter valid inputs, comma, and we're gonna select here the length of this toast. We're gonna do long and dot show. All right. Now here inside the try, it means that there was no exception, there's everything, at least some valid entries. So here the first thing we're gonna do is reading the company name. All right, so we're gonna call is a string, we're gonna call this company name in. And how to read it? Take the object there, company name objet dot get big T for text dot to string, the very first option there. We read that. Now the possibility that the user didn't enter a company name, left blank. That was not an invalid error. We didn't put any condition there, so that would not go into exception. Just a blank, blank's fine. But for us, no, we want the company name. So here, ensuring an input has been entered. So I say if, in parentheses, not the string there dot is empty. All right. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and put right here an else here. Right? An else here. And the else, we're going to just toast this. Else, I'm going to copy and paste this toast here. Control copy. and you put it here, Control V. This will just say, please enter a company name, All right. All right, the user enters something there, right? Good. Okay. So now we have a company name. Now let's reading the ID of the selected radio button. The ID is an integer, yeah, an integer. So we're gonna put here int. Let's call that selected capital I index. And how to read it? You take the radio group, point object radio group, dot get, look at this right there, the first option, get to check the radio button ID. Press enter. Now we have the ID of the select radio button. Right? Now hold on a second. The user might look at the radio buttons there and then don't select anything, press the submit button. So we have to have a condition here. So making sure the user select a radio button. So you say if select index is different from when the user don't click in any button, the index, the value of the index is -1. -1. We're gonna put it here, and then here, before I go inside of the if, let's put an else here. What the else you're gonna do? Let's copy this toast here from the company name, Control copy, and put it right there, Control V. So what are you gonna say? Please enter, or let me move this down here so you can see here. So please select a quantity. Click there, tap there, right? Second, here, if you go inside here, it means the condition is satisfied, meaning that is not equal. This here means not equal, right? This sign here, the exclamation mark equal. So it means that the user clicking one of those, right? Either 5 or 6 or 7, 8 or 9 or 10. Okay, so we are inside there. Right? Okay. Now we can define the radio button, the selected radio button. We are not the radio button. How to select the radio button? Put the name of the radio button object. What do you call? We'll call that select object. Let me add one more thing here. Selected obj radio button. It really is an object. So how to define the object there? We know how to define because we define, look at the way we define the objects here. Look, we cast that, find view by ID. We put an ID here, which we already know the ID, right? The select index here. So now we can say here that the radio button, selected object radio button, is equal to cast data radio button, right? And find view by ID, r.id dot, hold on a second. We don't need this. We have an ID. Is that selected index? We have the radio button. Now we can, if it was clicked, now we can know what the text that belongs to the radio button, right? So now we can write and then the value or the text of this radio button. How to get that? String selected quantity. Let me capitalize the Q there. So how to do the select quantity here? Take the object, selected objrb, get text to string. That's a string. But I can either send it as a string to the second screen and then work with the string or work with the integer. So I'm going to convert this, converting the string selected quantity to an integer. So I'm going to do here int quantity. Let me call that guy there selected string quantity. And here I'm going to call that selected quantity. So how to do? We take the integer dot parse int and the string select string quantity. Okay. So we are going to process the order on the second screen. So we have to send all those information, these inputs, the company name and the quantity to the second screen. So we are talking about second screen, so let's create the second screen. How to create the second screen? Go here to the project here, highlight the app, right click on it, go to new here, look down here at the bottom here, activity, screen or activity, it can be, is interchangeable, you can use any one of the words, activity, and take that, the empty activity. We're going to call that second screen show order, capital O there, any name, anything, but preference, start with a capital letter, right? And finish. It gives us the layout and the JavaScript as usual, those two elements there. So let's go back to my activity and finish up this thing here. So we have now both inputs. So now, right, creating an intent to go to the second screen. How to create an intent? Plain Java, put the class here, intent, give it a name, hold the Alt key, press enter, give it a name to the intent, I'm going to say go to screen 2, new intent, from where to where, from here, from main activity.this, to where, to the other one, which I call show order, dot little c for class. Right, and semicolon. So main_active.this show order dot class. Okay, press enter. We have intent now. So we have the inputs, we have the intent. All that we need to do now is pack the inputs with the intent. So take the intent, go to screen 2, put extra. It goes with the key. So the first key is for name, company name. So I'm going to say here, company name, capital K for key. Again, it's just a name. You don't need to put key, you don't need to capitalize. No, any key, any name is fine. And here is the what you are packing. I'm going to send this the company name in, right? The second one we're going to pack with the intent, put extra. The key we're going to call the quantity key, comma, and is selected quantity, right? The integer there. Now we can start the second screen. Screen activity is the same, right? So just say start activity. What is the name of the activity there? Go to screen 2. Are we done? We are done with the first screen. Let's work now on the second screen. Okay. So the second screen, activity show order here. Click that on the show order. Let me minimize this guy here, right? It's blank there, so I'm gonna have the same elements from the main activity here, the activity main. I'm gonna highlight this guy, hold the shift key, highlight the other guy also. Do a Control C, go back to activity show order and click there and do Control V. You get those guys there, right? And all that I have to do now is I'm gonna have quantity, and you enter the quantity. We're gonna display quantity. And then discount, display discount. And final cost, final cost. Okay, so let's do that. So let's put here all those text view here. You can see here in the component tree, I have all the ideas that I'm concerned with. I have the company name ET, I have the quantity ET, I have the discount ET, and I have the final count ET. Okay. So let's now program the show order here. Show order. Right. So the show order now we're gonna do it. On the top here, the first thing we're gonna do here is declare and define variables. So I have here int unit price. It says it's $20. Oh, comma. I have more int here. I have a rate of 5. Rate of 5 is 8%. So 8. Rate of 6, 10. Rate of 7, 12. Rate of 8, 15. Rate of 9, 17. And rate of 10, 20%. Double is gonna be discount and final cost. Okay. So let's come here to on create. Now we're gonna on create, we're gonna do everything in one shot, declare and define the object. With the object we are concerned company name, quantity, discount, and final cost. 3 edit text. So how to define, declare, define, edit text. The first one is what? let's call the guy the same way we did for the first screen, call name, obj, object, et. Have to cast that at edit text, find view by ID, find view by ID, r.id dot codename et, right? Where we use the same ID as the one that we use in the first screen. Now just copy and paste here. 3 more times, Control copy, Control V, Control V, Control V. So we have codename, we have quantity object this, and here the same thing, quantity et. We have quantity, and then we have discount object here, and then here is discount et, and the last one is final cost, né? Final cost obj et, and we call that final cost est, né? Final cost et. Good, right? So now we have this. Now all we need to do, these are the ones we're going to be writing into. So the first thing is create an intent to get the passing variable. The variable were passed from window screen 1 to window 2 or screen 2. So to get the passing variables, which one they were passed? Company name and quantity. So how to create this is done a little bit different from the way we did in the first screen. So intent, this to get the variable. So intent, let's hold the Alt key, press Enter to import, and we're gonna call that intent get vars. This is just get intent. That's all. Okay. Getting the variables. Which variable? Company name and quantity. So the first one is a string, right? Company name. Call, let's change a little bit. Call name. How to get that? Get vars. Get extras. Get string. What is the key there we use? We call that company. You have to put in double quotes. Company name, big K for key, right? Semicolon. We are getting the quantity. The quantity. Remember that we convert the quantity. So here is a int quantity. Same thing. Get vars dot get extras. Now here's changes, get int, get integer, because we convert that, we're send that as an integer through a key, right? What's the key? We call that quantity key. Good. All right, now we can do it here. One thing I forgot here as a integer is a gross price. Gross cost. So gross cost, how to do this? Gross cost is just, right, unit price times, I would say unit price times the quantity. No, getting the discount. The rate of discount, né? No, that's the discount, get the discount. So we're going to use, instead we can use if, else, right? Depending on the quantity, right? So, but I'm going to use it, switch. Let's change a little bit, switch, in parentheses, quantity. Open, curly. So case the quantity is 5, colon. we're gonna do a discount is equal to gross cost times rate 5 divided by 100. The only thing here, the discount is going to be wrong because we declare discount as a double, but we're using here gross cost is integer, rate of 5 is integer, rate of 5 is 8% here, and 100 is an integer. So this might throw the value discount off. So what you do, make any one of those factors here as a float. I'm just put the 100 with the dot here. So you get the discount for this. This is done. Break. Get out of the switch. Now copy and paste for all the others. Just change the rate. Control copy. This is the case, Control V. Case of 6. Case of 7. Case of 8. Case of 9, case of 10. So just change it here. This is going to be 6. This is going to be 7, 8, 9, and here 10. And change the rate also. Here's a rate is 6, rate of 7, rate of 8, rate of 9, a rate of 10. We got that. So now we have everything. The last thing we're going to do is we need to calculate now is the final cost. Final cost, that's what the user going to pay. Is what is it? Is the gross cost minus the discount. Finally, writing these values into the edit text or onto the edit text. So what do you do? The first one, company name obj. All right. So we come here, company name object et dot set text. Right, we got the company there, we read, remember? When we read that, we call that CO name, capital N, CO, capital N, name. So the name is written there. Let's get the quantity here. So the quantity here is quantity obj et, so the object is quantity, object quantity obj dot set text. No, the quantity is just a number. If I put it here, what is the QTY? I'm going to get an error because it is a text object, and you are putting inside just a number. No. So what I do just to trick the system, we put a double quote here plus. So I said, no, this is a string. There's it starts with a string and then there's a number. All right, see? We concatenate that, right? So that one fools the system, and so you don't get an error. The quantity is there, and the same thing we want to do for discount and final cost. So the discount is discount objet dot set text double quote plus discount is a double, right? And the last one is final cost, object dot set text, double quote, plus final cost. And the solution is done. Let's run this. Let's make sure that it works. First thing you do, click the order here in the bottom. You should get the toast. Yeah, you got. Please enter company name. That's ST2301. Mids. Okay. And I don't want to click any quantity. Let me click order here. Please select the quantity. So, okay. So let's select like 10 games. Let's order. So we have here 10 games. Discount is $40, 20%, and the final cost is $160. So you'd have paid $200, right? Because it's $20 each game, 10, 20. You get 40% or $40 of discount, or 20% of discount, which corresponds to $40, and your final cost is $160.